Hello dear learners, today I welcome you all on e-portal of Institute for Excellence in Higher Education Bhopal, which is named as Gyanmek. This is an initiative for ICT-based teaching, learning and evaluation. Myself, Dr. Sunana Tiwari, Faculty of Commerce from Institute of Excellence in Higher Education, is going to discuss an important topic of commerce, which is named as auditing, and in this paper we are going to discuss about its meaning, concept and some other important terms related to the auditing. Topics to be covered are as follows. First is learning outcome that you will get. Then I will provide you some link to the previous topic. Then I will go with introduction of auditing, then its meaning and objective. Then I will give you some major types of auditing. Then I will discuss principles and techniques of auditing. Then I will discuss some errors or frauds that we can commit while doing the work of auditing. Then I will discuss the meaning and role of vouching. Then I will go with summary, some link for further readings and references. Here are some of the learning outcomes. After studying this lesson, you will be able to describe the concept and meaning of auditing. You will be very clear about the auditing. Then you will be able to explain the usefulness of auditing in corporates. Then you can easily state the meaning of different types of audit. You will be able to explain the principles and techniques of auditing. You can easily identify the difference between errors and frauds in auditing. Then you will be able to apply the concept of auditing and vouching in your professional life. Here are some of the links to the previous topic that you have previously learned. Because आज हम एक नया topic start करने वाले हैं, therefore it will be very helpful for you to understand it in a better way if I am going to relate it with some previously learned topics. Whenever we are going to talk about audit, हमारे दिमाग में सबसे पहली चीज क्या क्लिक होती है? About checking or examination. Examination or checking of what? About books of accounts that we will maintain with the help of the accounting rules and regulation. So it is very well linked with the term accounting, because where the work of accounting ends, the work of auditing starts. Now, what is vouchers? When a voucher are invoices or the bills that we will get whenever we are going to do the purchase or sale. जब भी आप कुछ परचेज करते हैं, सेल करते हैं, चाहे वो छोटी चीज हो चाहे वो बड़ी चीज हो, तब आपको सेलर के द्वारा कुछ इनवॉइसेस या कुछ बिल्स दिए जाते हैं, तो उन्हीं को अपन वाउचर्स कहते हैं, जिनको अपन एज अ प्रूफ रख सकते हैं फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर ट्रांजैक्शन. देन व्हाट इज वेरिफिकेशन? Verification means to verify whether a particular asset or liability is having existence or not. उसको verify करना, check करना, जो चीज बताई गई है वो actually में है या नहीं. Then valuation. Valuation means to value the things, कि आपसे जो value ली गई है particular goods की या product की, तो वो सही तरीके से valued हुई है या नहीं. So from this slide we are going to start our main topic, that is auditing. So here we will start with meaning and concept of auditing, which we will understand with the help of one definition, which is given by R.B. Bose. According to him, audit may be said to be the verification of the accuracy and correctness of books of accounts. That I have already discussed, where the work of accounting ends, the work of auditing starts. Therefore, in auditing, we need to prove the accuracy and correctness of books of accounts. This should be by an independent person. Who will be the independent person? जो कि किसी भी तरह से उस particular organization पे dependent ना हो. And he should be qualified for the job. What will be the qualification? In current scenario, the qualification to work as an auditor is CA. And not in any way connected with the preparation of such account. Then it will come under the category of proper auditing. Here we can see the term audit is derived from the word order. What is the meaning of order? Order means to hear, चीजों को सुनना, समझना. पहले के ज़माने में जहाँ पे proper qualified accountants नहीं हुआ करते थे, तो वहाँ पे जिनको भी ये books of accounts या ये transaction सुनाए जाते थे, समझाए जाते थे, फिर उन चीज़ों को सुन के समझ के जो डिसीशंस लिए जाते थे उसी को ऑडिट कहा जाता था. दैट्स वाई ये जो वर्ड आया है ऑडिट, इसी से ये वर्क ऑडिट को लिया गया है. नाउ द मेजर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ ऑडिटिंग आर एज फॉलोज. फर्स्ट इज प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव. According to Companies Act, the primary duty of an auditor is to report to the higher authorities of an organization about balance sheet, whether the balance sheet is showing a true and fair position of business or not, and the profit and loss of a current financial year is showing a true and fair position of profits and losses or not. This is the primary duty that a particular auditor need to follow. Then next is secondary objective. Secondary objective of an auditing that an auditor need to follow is prevention and detection of frauds and errors in the books of accounts. In this slide, I am going to discuss types of auditing, which are as follows. First is statutory audit. Statutory audit means that kind of audit which is compulsory by law. It means according to law, कुछ organizations के ऊपर ये compulsion होता है कि उनको audit कराना compulsory है. For example, companies हुए, कुछ trust हुए, और ऐसी कुछ organizations हुई, those who are working for the sake of the people or the common people will come under the category of statutory audit. Next is private audit. Private audit means it is applied on private sector जो कि अपनी खुद की private organizations पे by the help of the qualified auditor audit कराते हैं. For example, sole proprietor हुआ, partnership firms हुई, that will come under the category of private audit. Next is government audit. Here is this government audit means the work of audit which is done for the government companies, central level companies, state level companies governed by the government, which is done by the CAG. इनका एक अलग डिपार्टमेंट होता है for the work of the auditing. CAG means Comptroller and Auditor General of India. All the work of government audit is done by them only. Next and last is internal audit. Internal audit means that kind of audit which is done by an internal auditor, जो कि organization internally ही auditor को appoint करती है as an employer and gives him salary for the work of auditing. Here in this slide we are going to discuss some other types of auditing which are as follows. First is continuous audit. Continuous audit means that kind of audit where the work of auditing, verification, examination is done on continuous basis. Next is annual audit. Annual audit means audit which is done annually or once in a year at the end of the year we can say. Next is balance sheet audit. Balance sheet audit means audit which is done on the basis of balance sheet where we need to check the capitals, reserves, assets, etc. Next is interim audit. Interim audit is that kind of audit which is done in any part of the year, whether it is on monthly basis, quarterly basis, half-yearly basis, anytime. Next is tax audit. Tax audit is verification or examination of books of accounts. Majorly it is related to income taxes where an auditor need to check about the deductions or the standards they need to follow while doing the work of tax. Next is management audit. Management audit means the audit which is done to check all the aspects of management. I'm going to discuss about principles of auditing which are as follows. First is planning. The first and the foremost principle that an auditor need to follow is planning. It means उन्हें पहले plan करना चाहिए, उसी के बाद अपना काम start करना चाहिए. Next is honesty. Honesty means he should be honest towards his work. उन्हें ईमानदार होना चाहिए. Next, he should be impartial. Means while doing the work, he should be impartial, not to include his or her own views. Next principle is disclosure. He should follow the principle of disclosure. It means not to show the information or the disclose information in front of any third party. Next principle is evidences. It means while doing the work of auditor, he should maintain the proper evidences of his or her own work. Next and last principle is materiality. It means auditor need to follow the principle of materiality. He should know what to accept and what to reject so that he can do his work timely. In this slide, I'm going to discuss the techniques of auditing. Here are some of the techniques which are as follows. First is inquiry. It means an auditor will do the inquiry of the particular transaction from the inside or outside party. Next is sampling. Sampling is a technique in which an auditor do the work with the help of sampling method. For example, random sampling method, systematic sampling method he can follow. Next is vouching. Vouching is the process with the help of which he can examine or verify the transaction with the help of the vouchers, or the proofs which are related to the transactions. Next is use of computer techniques. Nowadays, some of the apps or the softwares are available for doing the work of auditor. That technique also can be used by the auditor. Next is examination of record. This is the traditional work of doing examination of books of records with the help of the standards that we are going to follow in the accounting. In this slide, I am going to discuss about errors in audit, which are same as accounting. First is error of omission. Error of omission is committed by the clerk due to mistake. Then next is error of commission. Error of commission which is committed by the clerk due to his or her negligence on work while doing the work. Next is compensating error. Compensating error means error which is committed by the clerk by compensating the other account. It means debit करना था तो credit कर दिया, credit करना था तो debit कर दिया with some amount. The next is error of principle, which is committed by the clerk due to lack of information or the knowledge regarding the accounting standards, rules or regulation or the principle. Here I am going to discuss frauds in audit, which are categorized in two parts. Misappropriation of cash or goods. Misappropriation means transactions cash के goods को properly record नहीं करना, receipts को कम show करना, payments को ज़्यादा show करना, vouchers को destroy कर देना will come under the category of misappropriation of cash or goods, and frauds are mainly done intentionally. The next is manipulation of accounts. Manipulation of accounts can be done by overstatement of accounts or understatement of accounts. Profits के statements को ज़्यादा बता देना, losses को कम बता देना, losses को कभी ज़्यादा बता देना, profits को कम बता देना, all will come under the category of overstatement or understatement of accounts. In this slide, I am going to discuss about meaning and concept of vouching, because in earlier slides we are again and again discussing about this word vouching. Therefore, there is a need to discuss it in detail. Vouching consists of comparing entries in the books of accounts with documentary evidence in thereof. As we have already discussed, vouching is a technique which is applied by an auditor to do the work of auditing in a much better way. In the process of vouching, different kind of vouchers are used as a proof to check the transactions. Here we can understand it clearly with the help of the objectives. First objective is proper record of transaction. In vouching, we will make sure that the transaction recorded properly or not. Proper evidences with the help of voucher that we collect in the process of vouching, we will make sure that every transaction is having a proper evidence. Then we can easily avoid not to record any kind of fraud transaction, because if we don't have any kind of voucher for any kind of transaction, then it can come in the category of fraud transaction. Then it is necessary to ensure that all business transactions have been recorded properly. When transactions have been authenticated by a responsible person or not. It's all come under the objective of voucher. Now, in summary, we have already discussed meaning and concept of audit. We already discussed types of audit and its objectives. We already discussed principles and techniques of auditing. We discussed about errors and frauds and meaning concept of vouching too. Here are some of the links that you can use for getting more information about the same topic that we have discussed in this session. Here are some of the references, some of the books, some of the web links, and some of the videos which you can use for enhancing your knowledge regarding same topic. So here's the time of assessment. Let's get started. First question is, for audit of accounts, the most useful is routine checking, audit program, vouching, or none of this? So the answer is vouching, that we have already discussed many times. So next question is, an auditor is a watchdog, bloodhound, street dog, team dog. He is a watchdog. Thank you so much for listening. आपका दिन शुभ रहे.